All right, I'm back for NA to Z CS2's ongoing coverage of Fragadelphia 18, and with nicx following his win earlier in the day over ROOMA PEAK. So one win to make playoffs, pretty easy road for the Nouns squad. How you feeling coming out of that match?
First map went okay. Second map was a little bit too close for like our enjoyment, but I mean they were hitting nice shots, so it was a good game though.
And overall, with this win over ROOMA PEAK, you've been on a pretty good purple patch with this new Nouns squad that you only joined a week ago. We'll wait 1 second for the Revel match to calm down a little bit. But so you've been on something of a purple patch recently with this Noun squad you just joined. You went into the NA Revival Series completely new with no previous matches, and you end up winning the whole thing. And then you come here to FRAG 18 and you claim a win on LAN. With that, how's it been with the new Nouns guys? Teaming up with CJ, Rush, and Junior on Nouns.
I mean it's great. I mean they're all like great players. I mean, it feels nice to like play with like more like people who are like more experienced than me. Like it's the first time for that in like a very long time. So I mean, I'm like excited to learn, especially from like Rush and Junior. Like those are two players that have a lot of experience, not just in NA, but like internationally as well, and at like a tier 1 level. So I'm excited for that.
And it's a pretty interesting road about how you found your way over to Nouns. So to start, you had been on lag for a pretty long time, playing with Experative and OG Wizard and finding good success with that squad. This most recent season of ECL ended with you guys facing relegation. Was that something that pushed you to leave lag, or what led you to leave that lag squad you had spent such a good amount of time on?
I mean, to be honest, like the lag squad that I joined was not the lag squad that I left. Like it was basically a completely different team. Not that like there was anything like wrong, but like with like what we had at the end, but I felt like I could do more outside of like what we had there, and it kind of just wasn't the opportunities that we were getting at the time just weren't that good, and our future with the roster also wasn't looking too good. So it kind of just made sense to go somewhere else or go LFT.
And out of that departure from lag, you ended up joining Timmerman very briefly for around 2 weeks before exiting that squad. Can you explain like why you joined Timmerman and then what ultimately made you leave Timmerman as well?
I mean, Snav messaged Ray. Snav messaged Ray, and Ray asked me to join along with him. I really liked playing with Ray, so it kind of made sense at the time. But I wanted like a team where like we'd be getting a lot of practice in, and we'd be like improving together as a team. If I were to like play on that team, I'd have to put a lot more time into improving individually in order to like catch up with everyone else in the region. So it kind of just made sense to not play with them if that's what I wanted, is to like improve with a team.
When you left Timmerman, were you already knew you were going to try out for Nouns, or did those two events happen separate from each other?
They were separate from each other. I didn't know for sure, but I kind of like knew in the back of my mind because Adren messaged me after like one of the games that we played against them, and he's like, "You played really well." Like I kind of felt like a foreshadowing of like what could happen in the future. But even if like that didn't happen, I feel like I probably would have been able to find a team at some point. So.
And you mentioned it being a big shift for you to go from a team where you were the most experienced player to joining a team now where you're the least experienced player. You already told us about working with the trio of Junior, Rush, and CJ. But what about with Peeping? How's it been working with Peeping, him having also come from Timmerman Core?
I mean, Peep's great. Me and Peep were actually teammates like 3 years ago, so I've known him for like a while. So, I mean, it's nice to like play with him again. I mean, I really enjoy playing with him. I think he's kind of in the same boat as me though. Like he wants to play with like other like good players who like really want to practice. Not that he had that on PA, but yeah. On Nouns, like there's more opportunity. It's also
And in your career, for the most part, you've never really had a truly like professional full-time coach. You had El Principe on lag, but he was obviously working from Turkey, and it was more of a part-time, semi-professional organization system. So from that context, what's it been like working with Eric, who of course has a wealth of experience and is fully committed to the coaching, the coaching Nouns?
I really like. I've been on the. Well, we've been like practicing for not that long. I haven't had much like one-on-one time with Eric, but I mean it is still something like I'm excited to like get to work with him more and like to know him. But it's kind of the same boat as like I just haven't gotten that far with him. But I'm excited for it to happen though, because I know he is a good coach. I know he's coached good teams.
As someone whose career trajectory has consistently gone up since you broke in at the end of CS:GO, do you feel like you're ready to take that next step into playing with a team like Nouns?
I think so, like for sure. Like I feel like I couldn't. I felt like I couldn't really go much higher playing on like kind of the level of teams I was. So, and I feel like statistically, I was kind of capping myself at some point too. So, I don't know, I felt like the opportunity would just come eventually. So, and it did. So,
And now, a lot of people are going to ask, so you go to the NA Revival Series, you win against NRG, you go to FRAG, and you're already on the road to playoffs. Is this Nouns roster going to continue beyond this? Has there been any discussion about making this a permanent arrangement?
we are continuing after this, but we're still on trial technically. Like there's no contract yet. There's things going on with that, but technically, yeah, we are still on trial.
With this trial and with this being such a new roster, what's the expectation for you guys here at Fragadelphia 18? Do you think you can take it all the way?
I think we can take it all the way. In terms of expectation, though, like to be honest, I really don't know. I would really like. I think easily. I think we could be able to make the finals pretty easily. I think the only other. I mean, Sharks is like an unknown quantity. Like literally none of the teams here have ever played that team, so that's like kind of the only question mark. I think if we played like NRG, PA, Boss, like any of those teams, I think we could still beat them. But I mean, even Sharks, like I feel like as long as we're all like playing good, we could definitely beat Sharks.
All right, so that's nicx from Nouns having locked in playoffs and aiming for a run to the finals. Thank you so much for your time.